Hey, Fantasy Goats, how are you this fantastic Monday, the 1st of December? Goats, man, we are here. We are about to close out week 13 in the NFL 2025 season with the week 13 key fantasy takeaways. Of course, I'll be here for all your Q&A. We've got a couple of injuries, nothing crazy, nothing that catastrophic. We've got a couple of returns, or at least one major return, and he looked really good too. Early waivers, which we will be doing between today and, of course, Tuesday night into Wednesday. And we got the Monday night football game. And if anything that we could take away from last night's game, Goats, with the Broncos playing the Commanders in Maryland, is that this game tonight with the Giants and the Patriots, let's not just dismiss that game. Let's not bury the Giants just yet. I'm not saying that they're going to win this game. They just might though, or at least make it close. So yeah, we'll get a little bit more into that, of course, and yeah, well, then the main contents of the show, of course, is the actionable data that we have provided from Mr. Ryan Heath over at Fantasy Points. Just breaking down all of the advanced metrics from Week 13's slate and what we could take away from that in terms of efficiency, opportunities, and usage. And yeah, it was a weird Week 13. Well, it was a good holiday week 13, but then yesterday was just like, what the fuck's going on here? So we're gonna do all this fantasy goats. It is about that time that we get this thing kicked off now. What's up? I am your shepherd. Welcome here to the Week 13 Fantasy Football Key Takeaways. Nate Goat, baby. Mike Evans is going to practice this week. Yeah, we were blessed on the fantasy streets with Bucky Irving's return, which was fantastic. And now it looks like we're going to get Mike Evans. Also, well, we might as well just stay here in Tampa, right, Nate? I know Jalen McMillan was cleared by one set of doctors, probably the physicians that were overseeing or taking care of or treating this serious injury that kept him out this entire season. So I'm pretty sure, if I'm reading it correctly, he was cleared by those doctors or that set of specialists, spine specialists. Now he's there. So if he's cleared by them, okay, fine. You would then presume that the next steps would be to get back onto the practice field for the Bucks and then get cleared by them. So he cleared a major hurdle. Why don't we call it that? He cleared a major hurdle. Yeah, look, Mike Evans, he's not a spring chicken, but it does add another element, another weapon for Baker and for Bucky and for for Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin. If this team gets healthy just at the right time, yeah, I mean they're supposed to win the division, aren't they? Right? I mean, the Falcons do what the Falcons normally do, which is lose. Yeah, the Saints do what they normally do, right, Nate? The Saints do what they normally do, which is lose. And then you got the Panthers, who are pretty much doing what we weren't kind of expecting, or some of us may have been expecting it. They're playing better football. Why don't we leave it at that? They're playing better football than what we've come accustomed to of recent years. They're playing better football. Why don't we get to some of this stuff, Nate Goat, some of the Seattle stuff, because just when we thought we were going to be getting some Kenny Walker magic, it turned back into Zach Charbonnet magic. Well, all right. Well, now that let's stop here because we were just talking about the Bucks, so let's just stop. Bucky Irving did return immediate 81% backfield carry. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a ramp up to me. 81% of the backfield carries. That's excellent. What else do you want? I mean, no one gets 100%. The same rushing workload, but roughly half the receiving volume he saw over the first month of the season when he averaged 18.3 fantasy points per game. He was supposed to be on a touch count, and that touch count resulted in 19 touches. That was good for your first game back in 2 months. And I saw an interesting report. I sent it to the commissioner prior to the game, where one of the Long brothers, one of the Longs, Howie's sons, Jake or the other one, said that he had a source inside that building that said that it was more of a psychological issue than a physical issue for Bucky to get back onto the field. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter. He's back on the field. But it would make sense because we all know he was practicing in full for a couple of weeks, or he was ramping up in practice for a couple of weeks. And then and then we kept getting him inactive, but he's back. That's the end of that. He is back, and they got the Saints coming up. Couldn't have come at a better time. Nate Goat. Well, by the way, Nate Goat, I know you are a Fantasy Goat Nation. If you're new to this channel, if you're watching us, listening to us for the first time, don't forget to like this stream, please, and subscribe. We've got content 6 days a week, and that does not stop. There's no off season here. You know this. There's no off season. Maybe fantasy finishes, and then, of course, eventually the NFL, but we don't stop. We're in the lab. We're in the lab all the time. Speaking of partners and commissioners and so on and so forth, Blake Corum. Imagine that, Blake Corum. Been saying it for weeks. If it's waivers, if you got the empty spot at the bench, or you're looking to audit your bench, Blake Corum should be added even if you're not the Kyron Williams manager. What happens if glad I traded away Kyron and picked up Corum. Oh, see? Exactly. See, you're playing Nate Goat, you're playing fantasy like a motherfucking goat. Blake Corum may or may not be continued to be thrusted into a standalone type of fantasy situation for us. But based on this data, he scored at the end of the first half after the Kyron injury, so to speak. That was the only play Williams missed. He came back after the half and finished with his typical 65% backfield carry for this. Look. And in the same game, for the second week in a row, the Carolina backfield was nearly a 50-50 split. For context, both running backs played on the first drive, which ended in a Chuba score, taking a pass for 34. Yeah, Chuba score. Yeah, but back to look, even if Kyron Williams is healthy, Kyron Williams is going to be used a little bit more. We know this. But yeah, what if between now and any given week now moving forward that Kyron continues to maybe re-aggravate this injury, this slight injury becomes not so slight. Blake Corum gets a feature role in this offense. And if you're really hurting, if you really want to put somebody in at the flex, Corum and his 35% backfield has shown that he could be a little reliable. Yeah, Kyron also got hurt. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But even before that week, right? Even before that week, Corum, we saw his usage uptick. It has uptick. It has increased. No, I know I wanted to find the Seattle stuff for you. It should be coming up any moment. Aaron Jones. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so speaking of injuries, this is one to monitor. Man, what happened to Troy Franklin? Man, oh man. What happened to Troy Franklin? Football happened to Troy Franklin. Pat Bryant happened to Troy Franklin. Cortland Sutton happened to Troy Franklin. Being on the road, coming off of the bye. Both teams coming off of the bye. One team didn't really have much to play for. The other team had everything to play for. And what did they wind up doing at the end? They wound up, doing that people are calling it the Matumbo block. Nick Benito's block on fourth down. That's what happened. Yeah, Troy Franklin was a disappointment. Only three catches, 3 targets, 3 catches, barely any yards. Yeah, it was a disappointment. Now, Cortland Sutton had a decent game. It was a good game for fantasy purposes. I think he came in with around 17 points with the touchdown. It wasn't that impressive either, though. That's not impressive. He wasn't impressive. That offense is kind of still trying to find their footing. None of their offense was impressive against the Commanders, including R.J. Harvey's 2 touchdowns. Where were his yards? Last 2 games, R.J. Harvey can't get past 35 rushing yards. And I don't even need to see this to know that, because I'm an R.J. Harvey manager. If it would have, thank God for those 2 touchdowns, and thank God for the couple of catches that he's getting. And Ryan won't have any of the Broncos Commander stuff in here. But Aaron Jones, this is something that we should discuss a little bit. Aaron Jones again re-aggravates his shoulder. This Vikings team is now. They've been finished for a couple of weeks, but it's official now. That team is eliminated. Aaron Jones, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him next season. He's probably on the contract. This team's got to revamp, and not to say that it's impossible to do that, because we see teams have turned it around. Many teams turned around after 1 year, but the Vikings now they've got to ask themselves some tough questions. But for all purposes, right now, Justin Jefferson, I hate to say it, Nate. I hate to say he was a bust where we drafted him. Bust. Not. And regardless, let's say if I was Janice, I'd take a walk. Let's just say week 14, week 15, that's 2. Week 16, 3, week 17, 4. If you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs while you drafted Justin Jefferson, then you fantastic work on your part. Fantastic. This man can't be trusted based on the situation. Aaron Jones, whether he plays or not, that can't be trusted based on the situation. Jordan Mason, let's say Aaron Jones misses time. Jordan Mason still didn't get the full workload after that. He shared with Xavier Scott. Oh, what a messed up team, man. 9. McCarthy comes back. What is that supposed to look like? I drafted him. See? All right. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about here, Nate Goat. 7-6. Damn right. Damn right. Hey, how are you this evening, my friend? Impartial General Gaming. Impartial General Gaming. Traded Justin Jefferson for Nico. Great move, man. Great move. Great fucking move. I'm almost damn sure. I'm almost damn confident weeks ago he was a hot button to either move off of or, and I'll be quite honest, and to trade for. So if you've got Justin Jefferson still, you're 7-6. You have a realistic shot of getting into to the tournament, and you've got Justin Jefferson as your wide receiver 3. Could potentially, if they get themselves together, potentially. But how can you? It's my point is too damn hard to trust. Cleveland or Rams, keep one. What's up, Bobby? What's up, Bobby Goat? Cleveland or Rams? Did you take a look at the schedule for the Browns? Did you take a look at the schedule for the Rams? We know that the Rams are going to have to do a little division housekeeping, right? Keep things in order there. I mean, on paper, they're both pretty damn good. On paper, right? And then again, the Cleveland Browns at home. The Niners, no one had the Niners scoring that many points. They kept CMC pretty much in check. Brock Purdy, one on the ground, one in the air. Juwan Jennings. I was sitting Juwan Jennings based on this weekend's start set questions. I didn't think Juwan Jennings was going to have a good game. What up, Frankie Goat? What's up, my motherfucking Frankie Goat? Traded Aaron Jones, Romo Dunes. Well, let me make sure I'm going in order here. You know how the shepherd gets. Goats. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. Got hate early, but looking like the right move now. Yeah, of course it's the right move right now. CJ Stroud came back. He was all right. I mean, it was a victory for the Texans, so they're happy with that. They're happy with that. In division, I think CJ Stroud will probably still continue to lean on Nico, continue to lean on Dalton Schultz. But yeah, Nico is much safer. Ceiling and floor right now. My first instinct, Bob Goat, is to go with the team that's winning football games. Now Cleveland's defense should have played better yesterday, and they didn't. They did not. I know they're going up against Kyle Shanahan, but at home, Niners on the road. That reeked of a trap game for the Niners, and they said, "Trap what? Trap what? To be fair, Brosmer went up against the best. Yes." Look, let me ask you this question: you think J.J. McCarthy would have had it any better? No. Brosmer looked like an undrafted free agent, an undrafted rookie. Yes, absolutely. But J.J. McCarthy would have looked like wouldn't have fared much better against that defense, in my opinion. Traded Aaron Jones, got rid of him, and Rome and Quinton for Josh Jacobs. Thoughts? Well, I mean, Aaron Jones now left yesterday's game with a shoulder. We'll have to monitor that. Romo Dunes and the Bears. Although none of these guys like Romo Dunes now, few games now, hasn't really produced. Maybe 3 weeks ago, I want to say it was our last Romo Dunes solid game. But then then there was a game, right, where also DJ Moore wound up having a touchdown or two, and then it's all their run game. That run game, but the passing game will come from that rushing attack. You still may have given up a tiny bit more seems like it's a little bit too much. Slightly too much value for the one player, Josh Jacobs. That's my thoughts. Josh Jacobs, we know what Josh Jacobs does. We know Josh Jacobs. If they get inside the red zone, again, they're gonna want to hand the ball. They're gonna want to hand off the rock inside the 10 to Josh Jacobs. They're gonna want to do that without question. It's in between the 20s that concerns me. In between the 20s, where you're trying to gain yards to get into that red zone, and if Matt LaFleur is just because we saw a fantastic passing game on Thanksgiving from Jordan Love. I'm still going to maintain that LaFleur still wants to run the ball. He still wants it to be a balanced attack, is what I should say. He wants it to be a balanced attack. Like the Bears are a little unbalanced right now. Bears are more run heavy. I think LaFleur would want it to be a little bit more balanced, not have Jordan Love throw so much. But in between those 20s, General Gaming Goat, I also believe that he still wants to use 2 running backs. Look, you got a good piece there. That's not your RB1. If Josh Jacobs is your RB2, you're in good shape. Quentin Johnston's a hit or miss. Aaron Jones may not play again. Rome Odunze is a hit or miss right now. Frankie Goat. You drafted Chase. I drafted Chase in Dynasty. So I have Chase on a Dynasty team. I had Chase in redraft last year, and I was to the moon. Drafted a lot of league neighbors this season. Not to the moon. I'm down here watching watching Jackson Dart and Wandale. Can you imagine what this freaking team looks like with Malik Neighbors? Anyway, what's cracking, Frankie Goat? I drafted Jamar, and when Browning was the starter, I thought I was in trouble, but Flacco saved the day. He sure as hell did. You know that Jamar Chase is still around 800 yards, plus or minus. He's still at around, I don't know, I'm going to say Jamar Chase is probably hovering somewhere like in the 60s for catches. Probably more. And I think he only has 5 touchdowns. You think that's going to stay like that, Frankie Goat, with Joe Shiesty back? No, it's not. We're still waiting for one of those nuclear games from Chase. A nuclear, whether it's 150-2, or if it's like 110-3 with 10 catches. Bobby Goat, man. Bobby Goat. Appreciate you, Bobby Goat. From the bottom of my heart. Appreciate you, Bobby Goat. Jacoby B. Goat. Should I hold on to Michael Wilson? And there's Jacoby Myers, the wide receiver 1 now in Jacksonville. For our purposes, yeah. I would consider Jacoby Myers the wide receiver 1, or the one that's going to be in position to gain the most targets or to get the highest target share on the team. Yeah, I would. You know that Brian Thomas Jr. was on the field 85%? Excuse me. 85% Brian Thomas Jr. was on the field. 85% route participation is what I read. 85%. He did nothing with that. On one hand, that's good. He's not on the sideline. He's actually on the field of play. Bobby Goat, you're not going anywhere, right? Merry Christmas to you. You're not going anywhere, but Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Absolutely Merry Christmas to you. Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. split damn near down the line, 50-50. Michael Wilson returns back to his role. Should you hold on to Michael Wilson? Well, let me ask you this question. Is it holding on to him because you need the depth, or are you looking to add who off of the wire tonight, tomorrow? If it's to just leave him there because he may be a good plug and play, or I don't know, something's up with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s heel, by the way. So yeah, there's an injury update. He went back in. It's probably what they call a contusion. Fancy word for a bruise, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, look. As long as Jacoby Brissett is passing the rock as much as he is, fuck. Michael Wilson might be a good play even with Marvin Harrison. I would hold him. I don't know who you'd be targeting on the waiver wire otherwise. Who you target? If you're targeting, you're telling me I want Adonai Mitchell. I tell you, it's almost even. Adonai Mitchell, who caught a bomb, as well as contributed an additional 50, 60 yards in the air, bunch of catches. Yeah, Adonai Mitchell, that was a career game for him. Adonai Mitchell's like a top 10 wide receiver this week. Devon Veal is a top 10 wide receiver this week. That's what I mean. When we started this show, I was like, what a wonky week. Devon Veal, who we like. We like Veal. Kenny Walker, man. Kenny Walker reverted back. Zach Charbonnet out carried him 14-13. Charbonnet also got both of the backfield carries inside the 10. That's just terrible. James Cooks. Four attempts inside the 10. Nothing. I think Jacoby is the one that will receive the most targets. Most targets earned. Whether you want to call out a wide receiver one or not, yeah, it's probably a wide receiver one. Well, am I worried about Rico? From the standpoint that he's not getting full volume, yeah. Yes. Yeah. The team likes Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's healthy. Chuba Hubbard's playing. Here. For the second week in a row, the Carolina backfield was a near 50-50 split. For context, both running backs were on the first drive. Chuba took it 34 yards to the hizzy. Over the past two games, Hubbard has outgained Dowdle by 14 total yards on 4 fewer touches. I'm going to say yes. I am a little concerned. Absolutely. But I mean, when you have one running back and you know that it's a damn near 50-50 split, the good news is they're going to want to lean into both of them. Got to hope that we're starting Rico, or we're going to make a call to sit Rico, depending on who Carolina plays this upcoming week. It could be Rico's turn, right? Can I drop Pearsall from an guy? Yes. You absolutely could drop Pearsall from a young guy. Any running back right now. Any running back. Not named this guy Xavier Scott. So maybe not every running back. Should be rostered. Don't even let the teams that have no shot of making the playoffs, and they just like to play spoiler because we all know that we have some of those out there. They'll still be playing the waiver wire. You shouldn't even let them get cracks at them. Blake Corum comes to mind. Kamanungai, of course. Kamanungai should not be available. Even Malik Davis, the Cowboys running back. Jadon Blue is not going to get an opportunity this season. They keep deactivating him healthy. I mean, imagine something happens to Javonte. Imagine it. We see this every week in and week out. We don't know who. We don't know which one, but we see it. Ashton Genty played well. Ashton Genty. Now, who the hell's backing him up? Okay, so Raheem Mostert? I don't know. I'd probably leave Raheem Mostert on the waiver wires for now. Because that team is just bad, period. Bad. Isaiah Davis. You have Breece Hall? You're headed for the playoffs with Breece Hall? You must have Isaiah Davis, even though he's not getting opportunity. Ashton Genty commanded a short career high, 34.8% target share. 8 targets in his last 3 games. He's getting decent amount of targets. 8 targets. He has now seen 8 targets in his last 3 games. So I don't know. That could be something along the lines of like 3, 3, and 2, something like that. For perspective, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs have combined for 0 games above 34% target share across their entire careers. That's interesting. So Ashton Genty's slightly getting a higher target share through 13 games, or through week 13 of this season. And Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs haven't eclipsed that mark in 2.5 seasons. Well, I mean, hey, that goes to show how damn good the Lions offense is, because they're winning football games and they're still passing it to Jahmyr Gibbs and handing it off to him, where Ashton Genty is used in the passing game because they can't run with him. That's what that's telling me. And Bijan Robinson falls kind of sort of in between both of those, considering his team. Bijan Robinson had a great game, by the way. That gets lost. No, Tyler Algier scoring. Tyler Algier getting opportunities still gets lost because of A, the Falcons, B, who the Falcons happen to have played this week in the Jets. No, Bijan finished RB1 this week. Bijan is Bijan. I got news for you. If you're watching, you're listening. By the way, if you're new to the channel, of course, I got to say these kind of things for my boss. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Mark my words, goats. It is December 1st, 2025. The good Lord has blessed us. Bijan, at the end of this season, will be up for an extension. Him and his agent will work out something with the Falcons where it's not going to be some crazy long-term deal. It's not going to be a long-term contract. He'll get some sort of like extension of 3 to 4 years. In 2 years, 2020, not 27, some point, I'm going to estimate no later than midway through the 2028 season, Bijan will be traded to the 49ers. And that's the end of that. He will be a 49er, and that's when we'll see Bijan unleashed. Same way we've seen CMC. What up, Tron Goat, baby? What's up, Tron Goat, baby? It's a Jackson tonight, baby. Let's get a little Jackson dart action here in the Foxborough. Fox. Yeah, look, we saw the Commanders almost beat the freaking Broncos with Marcus Mariota. I don't know why. We could see the Giants do kind of, sort of, something similar. Kind of, sort of. We all know the Giants have been winning. No, they haven't been winning. They've been leading in games for at least 5 or 6 out of the last 8 without actually getting like dog walked. Giants could actually make this a contest. They can, Chum Goat. Makes me nervous, but for you, as long as you got Dart going tonight, I think you have Dart going tonight. But let's hope for the best, man. Tyrone Tracy, let's hope for the best. Wandale, let's hope for the best. Brian Burns gonna come after Drake May with everything he's got. Abdul Carter. Oh, actually, can't verify this, or I wasn't interested to verify it when I saw it earlier today. But there was a post I saw where Abdul Carter is going to miss tonight's game due to discipline because he was watching porn in a meeting. That's got to be bullshit. Maybe it's not, but still, I wasn't going to spend time trying to verify that. Is Mike Evans worth picking up? He got dropped in my league, or should I get Garrett Wilson rest of the season? Well, that's like, do you like chocolate or do you like vanilla? Do you call heads or do you call tails? Mike Evans is, they're going to see, here's the thing. I think Mike Evans probably starts to pick up more steam. I think Mike Evans might pay you some dividends, but not immediately. In other words, it might be Mike Evans, but it may be too late at that time. Right? Like if he comes back week 17, or if he's doing his thing week 17, week 18, we're all wrapped up for fantasy by then, and we're looking into the playoffs. Garrett Wilson is expected to play week 15 with Tyrod. This is a close one, B-Goat. It really is. It really is. If Mike Evans may be practicing this week. I don't know if Mike Evans is going to get onto the field this week. And I know Jalen McMillan is going to begin practicing this week. I don't know if McMillan is certainly not playing this week. But the Jets podcasters, or the one in particular that I listen to, who's also a ESPN radio host, Garrett Wilson is expected to be activated. Off IR, week 15. 1 second here, Goats. I forgot to show you one second, Goats. 1 second, Goats. The boss is texting. Oh, yes, that's very nice. It's fantastic. Thank you. I need a miracle. Sending me this nonsense while I'm with the Goats. I need a miracle. I'm up by 1 point and have a 36% chance to win. That's going to change with Dart. The second Jackson does some action or hits the field, that's going to go up. That's going to increase. 36% chance to win with Dart and the Patriots kicker left. My opponent has Stephon Diggs, Wandalius, Ramadre left. I'm hoping Dart has a big night. Yeah, baby. This is why we play this shit. Tron Goat, baby. This is it right here. I love it. Would you drop Goddard for Kyle Pitts or Zach Ertz? I was also considering dropping Bo Nix for either Trevor or Love. I would probably do Love. Though Trevor does have Trevor's got the Colts, I believe. And as far as the tight ends are concerned, let's not get all freaking giddy for Kyle Pitts. let's not get so giddy for Kyle Pitts. I got some Kyle Pitts stuff here. I would probably hold on to Goddard. Or Zach Ertz isn't bad. Well, he dropped a touchdown last night, but my God, he was still. You look how much Mariota used him. They're targeting him, and that was with Scary Terry and Debo. By the way, that was a good game considering. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. Damn, Indiana Jones. Where is he? Let's get a little Indiana Jones real fast, Tron Goat, before we get back to that. Indiana Jones. Dun, 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 dun. There's Indiana Jones. Yeah, well, Carly, man. Carly traded 2 first-round picks for a dude that has a strained calf. No, that's part of the business. That's what happens when you pull the levers. Sometimes the levers don't cooperate. Here at the Fantasy Goats, we pull all the right levers. We are going to win. We provide you with experienced fantasy football advice. Always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Indiana Jones. Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited about Kyle Pitts, Trone. It's either Goddard, and I don't think Zach Ertz is a bad play either. Bo Nix, who the Broncos? Who do they have on tap now? Now that they're coming off of their nice win. Goddard has had 4 points in the last 3 weeks. Sure, glad I held on to Scary Terry. He looks healthy and has burst again. He did that against Sertan too. Yeah, it was a pretty impressive. It was impressive. The Commanders, they played well. You got to tip your cap to that. Yeah, it was kind of like a trap game. They almost beat the motherfucking Broncos. But that's again. I don't want to get too overly excited. I don't want to completely overreact to Scary Terry and the amount of pass volume that they. I could easily see the Commanders revert back. They have no run game. That bodes well. They have absolutely no run game. But back to the point of making sure that we have all our running backs stashed away. Yeah, Chris Rodriguez would still be a guy that I would keep. Oh, my Lord, the Broncos play the Raiders. If he had 8 points against them the last time, then we should expect Bo Nix and the Broncos to play a hell of a lot better the second time around. I told you this before. I told you this. I told all the goats this. I got Bo Nix. I'm going to start him. It's 2 QB league, so it's a little different. But yeah, I've got 3 good quarterbacks. I'm going to have to play the matchups. I'd play Bo freaking Callahan against the Raiders. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you see RJ Harvey yesterday? I mean, it's not like the second coming of Terrell Davis. That can't rush. He hasn't rushed past 35 yards in the last 3 games, 4 weeks. And I think the high was like 55 yards. He's not running well. He's a rookie. I don't want to shit all over him because I have RJ too. But again, I gotta look at this objectively for you guys. If it ain't for these touchdowns that RJ's getting, it's terrible. It's a terrible day. Terrible. Here's Michael Wilson Marv. Michael Wilson and come on, man. Freaking Gronk. Michael Wilson and Marv are dead even at 17.5% target share. That's lousy. That's lousy. Michael Wilson was probably getting in the yes, exactly. I was going to say around double that. That's much lower than Wilson's 30.8% over the previous 2 games, but still his highest in a game with Harrison active all season. So to go back to B-Goat, it was Wilson's highest target share with a healthy Marvin Harrison Jr., but it was a far cry from his target share in the last few weeks, 2 weeks. Michael Wilson is kind of sort of playable. He's borderline. He's a borderline wide receiver 3. He's a borderline flex. He's borderline. Some of the Cardinals don't have much to play for either. So I mean, we got to start paying attention to some of that. Some of these teams are eliminated, like the Vikings, like the Cardinals, like Jets. Though the Jets are playing, believe it or not, they're actually playing for their coach. They're playing to keep their jobs. Most of them. I don't know what the hell that looks like. I have no faith in that team, but nevertheless, Garrett Wilson's going to come back. They're going to want to see what this looks like with Tyrod, Adonai Mitchell, Brees, the offensive line. They're going to want to see what that looks like. Should I start Jaden Reed or Zach Charbonnet in the flex? Judah, how are you this evening, Judah? On the eve of the Monday Night Football game, Week 13, Judah. I would not start Jaden Reed. In his first game back, you've got Christian Watson. That's getting like 8, 9, 10 targets a game now, finally. When you got Romeo, and you've got Dontavian Wicks. Wicks was a top 10 wide receiver this week. What in the Lord? What a wonky week. No, I wouldn't. I would start Zach Charbonnet in the flex is what I would do. Because just when we thought Kenny Walker was going to take command of the backfield, he didn't. They went right back to Charbonnet. So, I mean, like, look, it's bad enough. It's hard enough to try to predict the Packers wide receiver room altogether. This guy is just coming back from injury. At least Charbonnet's been playing every game. It's a little bit more predictable. We have more body of evidence with Zach Charbonnet. And I'm trying to find the Charbonnet data for you. Here it is. Number 18, right here. A week after Kenny Skywalker saw season highs in every usage category. And McDonald, whatever the hell his name is, said that he was going to get more work. Charbonnet out-carried Walker 14-13 for the first time since the team's Week 8 bye. Charbonnet also got both of the backfield carries inside the 10. That's the high-value touches inside the 10. Charbonnet got both of those. Walker managed to match his season-high 15.4% target share from Week 12. That's lousy. It's lousy. Judah Goat, if you're new to the channel, and Ice Smarty, hey, Ice Smarty, how are you? If you guys are new to the channel, please do us a favor. Give us a like, subscribe. There's no off season here with the Fantasy Goats. There's no off season. I'm trying to find some sort of silver lining, or not silver lining. That's the wrong phrase. I'm trying to come up with a counterpoint to why maybe Jaden Reed, not Zach Charbonnet. I don't know what that's going to look like. For the first time, it's almost like, Jaden Reed became Jaden Reed because of Green Bay injuries. Now that they're finally getting they're finally getting a Christian Watson that weapon. Romeo Dobbs could play his role. They still got the running game. Dontavian Wicks, if he doesn't disappear, I can't find a good reason to play Jaden Reed this week. I have $146 out of $200 fab. You budgeted well. Either you're a first place team also, then you didn't have to use a lot of fab. Playoff bye week locked in. Yeah, exactly. I smarty goat. How much should I bid on the KC defense? Hey, goat. You spent a total of $54 in 13 seasons, in 13 weeks. Casey defense, you slap down $11, slap down some money, and still walk away with over 100 fab. Hell yeah! Spend it. Spend a little cash. It doesn't roll over. It won't roll over to your IRA or your 401k. It doesn't roll over to next fantasy season. Yeah, slap down. I always do an odd number too, by the way. Always an odd number. So that's why I said 11 or 13. Do 9. Casey's defense isn't bad. It's not bad. How much should I spit on Casey's defense? They good in week 14. They're playing the Texans, correct? Sport doggy goat. Sport doggy dog. Playing the Texans this week, right? That's a big, holy shit, that's a game. My God, is that a game? Should be a low-scoring game, too. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Texans. I like that. I could do the Chiefs this week. Absolutely. Oh, but you don't play this week. In week 16 when I play again. Yeah. Freaking swallow them up. And anyone else possibly. Take a look at your opponents, Smarty. Take a look at your potential opponents in week 16, if that's going to be the next time that you're going to play. Potential. It's going to be 2 sets of teams, really, right? It'll be the winner of the week 15 matchup. So 2 teams, basically. Who do they have any running backs on their roster that does not have the handcuff? That's who else you want to target. Fuck them. Sport doggy dog goat. You sport goat. I currently have Blake Horn. Of course you do. Need to drop someone to release Terry. Release him from the wild. No, you could drop. Why does it have to be one of these running backs? You telling me is there not one other wide receiver that you could release? And then it's Terry gets now activated on your roster? Well, I'm not releasing Gainwell. Although he did nothing this week. Bigsby. Well, look at Saquon. Jalen Warren and Gainwell. I get that it's a little bit of a challenge trying to decide which one to start, which one to sit out of those guys. Yeah, it is a challenge for sure. I don't want to drop any of them. Sean Goat. Wouldn't do it. There's got to be a wide receiver or second tight end. There's got to be somebody else. Somebody. Yes, sir. You fucking sport goat. Fucking dog. Big doggy dog. Week 13 will be mine. I'm ahead by 35. Appreciate you. And I still have Drake playing tonight. I put in a waiver for Joe Shiesty. You put in a waiver for Joe Shiesty. I love it. Drake May's off next week, too. Sport Dog. We'll be back tomorrow, Sport Dog. Waivers. Waiver Wire Show. Not that we don't help the goats out tonight for waivers, of course, but we'll devote the show on Tuesday nights. You asked me about our schedule the other night, right? And I said, yeah, just blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, there'll be no show this week. So we're back to regular schedule. But we're off Wednesday. Thursday at 7 o'clock will be kind of sort of like a preview / outlook / forecast, kind of new concept that we're messing around with. On Friday and Saturday is your lineup advice. You know how it works. Playoff push, man. Holy smokes, Sean Goat. Holy smokes. My wide receiver's good. Nico Alam. Yeah, but McClure. So you can't. So in other words, you're not going to want to drop any of these guys. Debo and McLaurin. So now I think. Now, appreciate you, Sport Dog. Now I think I kind of get where the Cowgirls bias comes from. You're a Commanders fan. You must be a Commanders fan, Sean Goat baby. Tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But now I'm starting to see it. I got Debo, McLaurin. I'm sure you had Jaden Daniels at one point between last year and this year. I know. It's an impossible situation. You wanna drop Tank Bigsby. That would be the first. That's the first person that comes to mind. You get Gainwell, Warren. They're like canceling each other out. Imagine if one of those guys goes down. Where's my Pittsburgh stuff here? Where's my Kenny Gainwell? No, not a command fan. I trade for Debo. McLaurin's got hurt, so I keep my stack. Okay, just checking. So I'm wrong. I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Where's my Pittsburgh shit? Here it is. Here you go, Tron. The moment looked like Kenny Gainwell was either equal or better fantasy option than Jalen Warren. Nope. Warren out-targeted him for the first time since week 8. Warren's 13.3 weighted opportunities were his most since week 9. And I know I said this at least twice. That if you got 11 points, more or less, plus or minus, 11 points off of a Kenny Gainwell push fake. Now, granted, yes, Kenny Gainwell has played pretty decent, above average, with some standalone value, but it has not been consistent. And we got a little dose of reality here with Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Warren. It was no Jalen Warren was never not going to be this guy. Kenny Gainwell. You got to remember something also, Goats. And I'm going to remind everybody of this tomorrow too, like the War Chief and the Rhino. The only reason, in my opinion, okay, very important, I don't know this for a fact, that we're even talking about Kenny Gainwell right now is the fact that their third-round rookie running back, Caleb Johnson, is not seeing the field. This was supposed to be a Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren type thing. Jalen Warren was supposed to do what Kenny Gainwell is doing. That's, again, just my opinion. That's the only reason why we're talking about Kenny Gainwell. Caleb Johnson has not been able to get onto the field ever since that muffed punt in the beginning of the season that got him right into the doghouse and apparently not ready for the NFL yet. Good news is he's on the right team to coach him and mature with him. Although I don't think Tomlin's going to be on that team anymore. I think this is Tomlin's last dance. If it's not Tomlin's last dance, I don't know why in the world he would want to be on this, coaching this team. This mediocrity is, I hate it. Mediocrity. Why you can't settle for that? All of us, goats, all of us. This is a little piece of life, and I'm not suggesting or implying that you guys don't already know this. We should always be thriving to be better, even if it's small, incremental improvements in anything, whether it's sports, relationships, cooking, parenting, budgeting. Always strive for incremental improvements. Why? That's another reason why well, not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why you'll always hear me saying, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Incremental improvements. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes on behind the scenes here to turn it from what it is now into something even greater, even bigger. The day that we settle, goats, for second place in fantasy, then you'll always be content on being, for this metaphor here, the first loser. Who the hell wants that? Always strive. What am I doing? What can I do differently next off season? Maybe there's something I should be paying attention to that I didn't in the past. Maybe it's maybe there is something to be said about the training camp and the news that we get out of the training camp, what coaches are saying, what the players are saying. Maybe it's that. What's up, Jose Goat, baby? What's up, Jose Goat? If May does not get you 24 points, are we still playing next week? Are we still on? Like, can we still clinch a spot, Jose Goat? Because 24 points is, going to be honest with you, as, again, I'm going to try to be honest and as unbiased, because I know that the Tron needs a big game from Dart. And I'm kind of sort of a Giants fan. Kind of, sort of. 24 points. If the Pats could get out to a nice lead, they're going to want to kill that clock in that 35-degree Massachusetts weather. Foxborough. Foxy. You guys believe in the fact that Bobby Robert Kraft and his son, Jonathan, and that organization, right, they hang those 6 banners up there. You don't think that somebody in the Giants organization is pointing out the fact that it should be 8 or 9 banners, and this organization is responsible for yanking 2 of those banners out of the jaws of life? That's the story. These are storylines, narratives. Yeah, I'm creating it. Absolutely, it's possible. Now, most of these players probably weren't even born. I'm a bit worried. Sport doggy goat. I'm a bit worried about London returning in week 14. My wide receivers are Alec, Jamo, Pickens. I become dependent on London. Hi, yeah. My name is Shepard. Nice to meet you. Yeah, my team was dependent on London too. It's no coincidence that I'm probably going to drop to 5 or 6. 6. I'm probably gonna drop to 6 losses. I am depending on London. And Alec Pierce would be the dude that does not start. Sport goat doggy. I'm gonna play London. You gotta play London if he's gonna get back onto the field. I'm more worried about Kirk Cousins. I'm not worried about Drake London. I see it as difficult. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close, Jose Goat. It's probably gonna be close. Adonai Mitchell is a stash. Yeah, he's a decent stash. He might be a decent wide receiver 3 flex moving forward. He's a stash. Nothing else. You're getting him so somebody else doesn't. If you can afford it. Mac Hollins dressed as a mechanic and carried a tire into the stadium. Fuck's wrong with this guy, right? This guy's out of his mind. No. The guy's out of his freaking mind, Mac Hollins. Dressed as a mechanic and carried a tire into the stadium. That guy, he marches to his own drummer. Mac the Knife. I call him Mac the Knife. We're going to see what Stephon Diggs does in this game. We're going to take a look at Hunter Henry again. He's definitely top 12 tight end, Hunter Henry. So, of course, we're gonna be fixated on that. We're going to be fixated on who's the other wide receiver here tonight. Is it Pop? Is it Keyshawn Butte? And of course, let's not forget the running back room. Travion Henderson. Ramondre Stevenson. Then there's another guy who likes to come in on the goal line. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, Goats. 7:05. I want to wish you all the luck and success tonight, Tron Goat, baby. We'll see you tomorrow. I want to know about it tomorrow. How many points is it for? Well, it's 24 for May. Tron Goat is, I see it right here. Judah. No, January. Not yet. Up by 1. Dart, the kicker. Diggs, Wandale, and Stevenson. That's going to be freaking close. You have Dart, but Dart throwing to Wandale. Wandale will, if whatever connection does occur between the two, he's going to get a couple more because it's the receiver. It's still, you negated points there. I like the chances. You negated the points. Any clue on weather for tonight's game? You probably mentioned I kind of hear late. Cold. 30, maybe 35. Other than that, I do not know. I did not hear anything else. My the TV above me went on sleep time. And I can't reach for the remote right now without leaving you guys. Well, it should be fine. Oh, I could check it here for you. Foxborough. Fox. Great stadium, by the way. Warmer than here in Green Bay. You're in Green Bay? Like the sniper? Well, it's only the sniper's not in Green Bay either. Warmer than here in Green Bay. Foxborough. Massachusetts. 30 degrees. Looks crystal clear. Well, that's 30 degrees early December football under global warming, if you believe in that type of shit. Any clue on weather? Yeah, warmer than here, 30 degrees. aside from the weather, I mean, yeah, that the fan base for a game like this at night, and I've been there before, so I could speak to this. Their fan base for a Monday night game of this type of magnitude, which is like, let's say, a 6 on the scale, right? I mean, like, the Patriots haven't been in many primetime games lately. So they are on prime time, but nobody thought that they'd be this far ahead of prime time. So I expect that crowd to kind of be subdued, cold. It sets up for the Giants. It does. It sets up for the Giants. You think they're going to be like all raucous? Like, this isn't a must win for the Patriots on a Monday night game. Are you kidding me? No, the Patriots are well ahead of where they were supposed to be. They're early. They're very early. So I expect them to be. I expect that team to be the not the team, but I expect like the stadium and the fans to be kind of subdued. At least they'll be there for one half of football, and then when you go to try to warm up, you don't return. All right, my goats, Sport Doggy, Tron Goat, all the new goats. If you're still here, again, biggest, best way to support us is just by hitting the like button, that thumbs up thing, and hitting the subscribe. Coming at you all season long, all off season long, baby. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock.